The frick isn't my camera working? Okay. What the hell? Can't find your camera. Why can't you find my camera? Why? Why can you not find my goddamn fucking camera? Ah! Why?
Royal Kitten House tipped $3.33. Hope you are well, smile.
Testing, testing. Hello? How long have I been gone for? Okay, did you guys hear me say anything? When did I cut off? So I didn't say anything, huh? You just heard music. There must have been a restart last night. That must have been it. I've been talking for a little while trying to figure out the, That's crazy. Okay. Okay, well, we're gonna try just going forward without camera, I guess. Um, so have I said anything this stream? But no camera still. So you heard me say no camera. That's odd. I wonder if it's a power supply issue. Oh, it might be a power supply issue. If there was like a power outage last night that I didn't know about, there might have been, that would actually make sense. Might have screwed up my although I wonder, since the audio's now back up. Any chance? No, it's just a virtual camera. Yeah, that's okay. Thoughts on the Austin Metcalf stabbing? We're gonna talk about that. Mostly because I want to be updated on it before I give thoughts, but I do have some initial thoughts. That one's a mess though. That one's a big old mess. Yeah, I think it's a camera. Hey, this might be the time I upgrade my camera. I don't know. But, hey, good news. In the Fold was monetized. So, that's now a thing. Okay. This is why Sunday needs to become a VTuber. Apparently. Well, apparently I am a VTuber now. Wow, this really sucks. This is actually really annoying me. Okay. I'm gonna try one more thing, okay? Give me a sec. Well, that seemed to work. What the hell? Why did that work? Okay. That actually seemed to work. Hang on. Man, if that's what it was, it's going to bother me so much. Let's see. Turn on for a brief second. What about my devices? Oh. Oh. It's detecting it there. And it's working. What the hell? Why? So it looks like one of my ports just deactivated. Okay, well that's good. That's good to know. I'll have to turn the freaking low light compensation off as well. Okay. So let's try relocating that again. Apparently that does work. So the camera's not done. The camera's fine. Which is actually worse, because I would have preferred that my camera was dead and not my computer damaged. Okay. Let's give this a go. Aha! It works. Okay. But the low light compensation's still up for some reason. There we go. That's better. Whew. That was very annoying. All right. You back where you belong. Center you a little bit. There we go. That's so off center. Why is that so off center? Why? Did I bump my whole screen? I might have bumped my whole screen. There we go. That's where you should be. Okay, that'll do. All right. That's really going to bug me. It's going to bug me so much. That. And then, there we go. God damn. What a terrible stream. What a terrible, terrible stream. But we're back. Okay. We're in. Oh my fucking god, that was a nightmare. Okay. POV Sunday strangles you, exactly. Exactly. All right, so before we get into this, Theory Meter is back. Here's the deal, though, okay? If we get to $100 in donations through Stream Elements, we skip to the Theory channel. We will then do a stream on more intellectual content, okay? And that is how it works. All right. Let me just double check. This is what I want. All right, here we go. We got it. Good. All right. Oh my god, that was frustrating. Okay. So, we're going to look at Sid the Sloth here for a second. So Willie Mack, for a while now, has been informed that Destiny was accused of, you know, sharing pornography of people he works without consent, to random e-girls on the internet. His immediate response, which we got from his conversation with Destiny, was that he just didn't believe Destiny's wife when she said it wasn't with consent. Just assumed she was a liar. Not like Honest Steve, who never lies. Willie Mack of all these people can be forgiven the most because he has the fewest brain cells to rub together. Like, honestly, how this person manages to breathe is beyond me. This unfortunate pose that he's in presently, where you can see it appears as if all of his teeth are missing, that would be his natural state if he wasn't making a tremendous amount of money from his very low-effort YouTube channel, where he has other people skim kiwi farms for scoops that he is not actually literate enough to understand, since he's barely capable of speaking English, much less cognizing written language. But the point of it is this. When it became absolutely untenable, because Nicholas DeOrio stabbed him and everybody else in commentary in the back when he leaked to me that actually, yeah, they all knew that Destiny had done this. We'll get to them in a second, don't worry. He interviewed Destiny in an audio call that he told him would be publicized. This is an interview for On the Record.
This is Democracy Manifest.
The wheel tipped $1.
Thank you, The Wheel. He interviewed Destiny on the record. We don't have this interview because Willie Mack is hiding it for some reason, or is being extremely resistant to publishing it. It has been a significant length of time now since he has talked about this interview, but it is apparently coming out in a forthcoming video. I don't really care about that. What I do care about is what is said in this brief preview.
That'll be it for today. I'm still working on my Destiny Part 2 video where I interview a lot of people, including him in it. We discuss a lot of allegations. People accusing you of doxing, right? Because you're referring to kiwi farms. Ryan did this.
He actually doxed me directly, just to be clear. Like, he full-on doxed me. Just FYI. Like, this is not he's full-on doxed people, or attempted to. I don't know if he's managed to dox Queeman. He's tried to. I don't know if he's managed to dox J-Stock. He's tried to. Like, he's just full-on dox people. Low scale of interest here, though, because this is what he says here.
With Anna. And then J-Stock is doing this. Queeman is sort of doing this, where there's DMs about you saying, like, hey, I wish this person... Has this person been doxed yet?
Yeah, for Anna, that's bullshit. For just doing like Queeman, I'd kill him if I could. I'd choke their fucking house and do it. But not for Anna, no.
That
now,
was
people,
not an effort
like,
to dox her, is what you're saying.
Yeah, no, what the fuck? Like, why would I even want to do that? Like, what am I, want somebody to kill her? Or what? Like, that's fucking retarded. I do want somebody to kill Jistical, though, or Lav, or Mr. Girl, or Queeman. Those people can all die.
It's taken...
Okay. Now, there's two things you might be wondering in this context. One is, isn't it strange that this is fine? Genuinely, isn't it strange that this is fine? This is okay. Go ahead. Try reporting it to someone. See what happens. Nothing will happen, guys. Nothing. Video's much louder than you, Sunday. Pippa, you say that every goddamn... Let's see.
It's so long to come out.
That was just the interview that was louder. Pippa, fix your audio. Jesus H. Christ. Nobody else is complaining about the audio. Sorry. I love you, Pippa. Is that better? Dear God. Okay. Yeah, did I have it boosted before? No. No, it's because there was some kind of freaking reset. God, I fucking hate this computer. Oh my God. Oh, I know what it did. I know what it fucking did. It dropped my input audio again. It dropped my input audio again. Yeah, it dropped it to 80. It's supposed to be at 90. Actually, I need to figure out what's going on. That's actually unreal. It should not be resetting my audio constantly. That is so fucking stupid. Some kind of Windows... It's not even a Windows update. I'm Windows 10. They've stopped updating it. So it's... I don't know. Is Chrome somehow doing something? I have no idea. But, look. You might be asking yourself, why is this okay? Let's hear it one more time, okay? Just for people who may have missed it, because this went fast.
A lot of people, including him in it. We discuss a lot of allegations. People accusing you of doxing, right? Because you're referring to kiwi farms. Ryan did this with Anna. And then J-Stock is doing this. Queeman is sort of doing this, where there's DMs about you saying, like, hey, I wish this person... Has this person been doxed yet?
Yeah, for Anna, that's bullshit. For Jessica and Queeman, I'd kill him if I could. I'd choke their fucking house into it. But not for Anna, no.
That
Now,
was
people
not an
like
effort to dox her, is what you're saying.
Yeah, no, what the fuck? Like, why would I even want to do that? Like, what am I, want somebody to kill her? Or what? Like, that's fucking retarded. I do want somebody to kill Jistical, though, or Lav, or Mr. Girl, or Queeman. Those people can all die.
This is on the record. So he said this with the knowledge this would be spread around. He said this with the knowledge that this would reach their ears. He said this with the knowledge this would reach a bunch of other people's ears. Now, here's the thing to keep in mind. Years and years ago, I think Mr. Girl actually interviewed the guy recently. I don't know why or why it matters. Years ago, Destiny made a strange decision to talk about how when some kid was DDoSing his house, he talked about how he planned to buy a gun and he had plotted out the routes he would take to get to that person's house, kill him and his family, his father, I think, and escape. So, what this is signaling to people is that, hey, if you annoy me too much in public, if you call me out for sexually abusing people I put in a vulnerable position with respect to myself, he may kill you. He may drive to your house or get someone to drive to your house to shoot you. That's what this is saying. And what's interesting to me is that this is fine. This is fine. YouTube will not do anything about this. Twitter, of course, won't do. He's been outright calling for the for assassinations of Donald Trump for a little while, which, you know what? Couldn't happen to a nicer guy, obviously, but immunity. Nobody cares. I find that fascinating. I find that genuinely fascinating. I find it fascinating that someone like Willie Mack, even stupid as he is, maybe this is because he's so stupid. Let's be clear. Like Willie, when you are trying to intuit the actions of another human being, pretend it has the same degree of sentience as like a tree stump. When you're talking about Willie Mack, that you would receive this, you would receive a very clear call to kill critics of some very large channel, and you publish that and act as a megaphone for it, and you don't give any warning to anybody. That's crazy to me. Who's dumber, Asmongold or Willie Mack? Willie Mack, easily. Easily. Asmongold is lazy and ignorant and stupid. Asmongold has the capacity to not be. I don't think Willie Mack does. I just find it very interesting. We are at a stage now where it is apparently okay on YouTube for major creators to tell their audiences that they would like to see someone killed. To say that they would like to kill another YouTuber. That's wild to me. And it's not a political thing. We know this. We know it's not a political thing. A, because Google donated money to Trump. They are not your friends. But B, there are several cases where this has happened, where this has been fine. Hassan Piker has made statements that very easily amount to this. Like, it's essentially identical in nature. Nothing happens to Hassan. Which, to be clear, I'm not clutching my pearls about nothing happening to Hassan. What I am fascinated by is the fact that nothing happened to Hassan, but something absolutely did happen to a whole lot of other people. Is this why he purposely stores a gun rack behind him when he streams? Well, that's kind of interesting, isn't it? He started storing a gun rack behind him when he streams, after me and Beckett did our videos. That was his, like, whole, okay, guys, we gotta talk, okay? Jesus. That was his whole thing where he, like, had the creepy filter on. And he was, like, he was doing that super soft, just talking sort of gently like this. Look, guys, some bad stuff happened, okay? I can't talk about all it. Like, when he did that thing, you know, the not YouTube apology video, he suddenly had a gun rack behind him. Interesting decision. Interesting decision. But the messaging is clear. And I'm given to understand that a lot of women that were attached to, were being tapped for Pixie's case as witnesses have dropped out. There's probably a number of reasons for this. Pixie, I notice, has done fuck all to actually promote the GoFundMe to make sure she has the resources to pursue this. I don't think anyone's taking it very seriously. It seems like there were like some basic errors in filing initially. There was they put the wrong date in or something. Like there's weird dumb stuff. And it just all seems very half-hearted and lazy. But leaving that aside, I gotta wonder about a couple of things here. Like, these are the threats that we see in public. This is what we see in public. This is what he says to the public. What do we not see? What do we not see? To be fair, Knuckin has had a gun behind him too. That's a you don't know that's not real, right? That's not real. That's not his room. Knuckin doesn't live in that room. That's a thing he has. These people, Willie Mack, okay? Turkey Tom, Nicholas DeOrio, the brains of the outfit, Nicholas DeOrio, which is not saying much. All these people knew in advance, with a lot of advance, by the way. They all knew what had gone down, what he was being accused of. They all knew it was being swept under the rug. And they didn't just all know, they helped. Willie Mack knew, went quiet. He actually, bizarrely enough, performed the best out of all of them. Went completely dead quiet, even though he knew. He says in his conversation with Destiny, we saw the DMs from earlier. Yeah, I didn't believe Melina when she said that was not consensual. Because, of course Melina would consent to having her nudes shared by her husband with just anyone without informing her. Sure. Turkey Tom cast aspersions on her, saying, why, like, you actually believe Melina when she says it's not consensual? Nicholas DeOrio did the worst thing. He said, well, I actually looked into it, and I collated all the background coverage of it. And I found out she's actually talking about a different issue, the Leafy thing from a while ago. And the purpose of this is, very simply, like, if you're a Destiny viewer, you can go, oh, good, maybe it's nothing. I can keep watching, I just enjoy it, right? Because it sucks when someone you have a parasocial relationship is caught in a scandal. And here's why they were doing it. All these people, one and all, were networking through Destiny and becoming buddy-buddy and growing with him as a result. Nicholas, I think, went from like 1K concurrent viewers to 4K concurrent viewers through his friendship with Destiny. It's a lot of money. It's a big difference. They would take photos with him. Nicholas isn't much of the walking type. He didn't really get very far. But they were all buddy-buddy. They probably had a parasocial relationship themselves. Nicholas DeOrio at one point was like, hey, I'd love to just have like a seminar every now and again where just Destiny teaches us about his worldly wisdom. Just teaches us about history and politics and whatnot. And it's very obvious what went on. All of these people had a business and a personal relationship with this person. And so when they found out that he was involved in a sex scandal, they either said nothing or they did whatever they could to deflect from it for him because they were interested in his reputation being maintained. And I can't help but wonder, who else have they done this for, and who else will they do this for? That's the only part that actually interests me. I don't really care so much about Destiny, because here's the thing, like, of all the people who've done this kind of thing before, it's not that severe. It's more embarrassing, it's unsubtle, but it's really not that bad. People have done way worse. Andrew Tate's still floating around out there, for example, just as one example. There are a whole lot of people who haven't been snitched on. But here's what interests me. We now know which people will not tattle on people they know are guilty of sex crimes. We know Nicholas DeOrio, if he gets wind that some major streamer is sexually abusing or manipulating or exploiting his audience or associates, he will not say anything. He will keep quiet about it if he has a business or an interpersonal interest in doing so. Willie Mack will stay quiet about it if he's friends with the person. Turkey Tom will stay quiet about it. And all of them will cast aspersions on the people who have said things about this, who have come forward with claims out of an emotional need to protect their bag and their friendship. And I just find it fascinating how after all of this, we're now at the point where really insignificant figures, like genuinely insignificant. Queeman's coverage doesn't matter. Queeman sometimes pulls between 600 and 1,000 concurrent viewers covering Destiny stuff. It's nothing. It's nothing. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. That's such a minuscule number of people. I know I'm on the talk because my audience is super tiny too, but that's such a minuscule number of people. It doesn't matter. And frankly, like if anybody, I was actually talking to JStock, just out of curiosity because I'd heard some things. I wanted to get some updates. I'm not going to go into detail about the conversation, but he seemed very pessimistic about the situation, and he was like, in his language, quote unquote, "We're raped Sunday." Now, I myself do not consider myself that, not the language I would use. But it's like, if you thought that a video expose and just a whole lot of people on YouTube talking about what a scumbag Destiny is would matter, like, you're kidding yourselves. You're kidding yourselves. There's the additional factor where JStock himself was sweeping for Destiny exactly the same way as all these other people for a very long period of time. So, you know. You made your bed, you lie in it kind of thing. Like. But it's like, we are in a state of absolute lawlessness. It's actually kind of wild. It's actually kind of crazy. In a way that, in a weird kind of way. You know how, like, the police don't do anything? I think the Supreme Court in your country, in the United States, we're not the 51st state yet, the Supreme Court actually ruled that it's not the police's duty to uphold law and order or to protect the public. Right? You know how, like, police will just not do something if, like, you're a victim of a violent crime or you're under threat? They just won't do anything. Not until somebody dies. It's like that, isn't it? Because it's not entirely true. They will absolutely do something proactively if you're rich. If you're the kind of person, either by profile or by direct knowledge by the police, if you're the kind of person who can rain hell if they're not served properly. But average person, there's a reason why people go on Reddit and complain about the police not doing anything. It's because they have no actual recourse. Police don't follow through. Police don't protect you. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. They will do something if you threaten to defend yourself. Yes, that's true. That's true. They will shoot you if you move the wrong way. Keep the peace? They aren't keeping the peace. They don't even keep the peace, let's be clear. They don't keep the peace. Let's be clear for a second. This is actually going to feature in my next video essay. There is no social contract. Social contract is a story that is told to convince you. And that's not even conspiracy, that's like by design, literally. The notion of a social, everybody floats around the language of social contract. We're in a social contract. We live in a society. We're supposed to act like civilized people. No, the idea of a social contract is specifically to tell you how you actually consent to your own oppression. That's the function of the social contract as envisaged by Hobbes. That's what it is. That's where it comes from. The role of the police is not to protect the law. The role of the police is to do what the people who the police answer to wants them to do and tells them to do. That's not the public, just so you know. Sometimes pressure gets channeled all the way from the public to the police through vicarious, like, distant, diverse ways. But it doesn't work that way. And we're seeing that with social media as well. Hassan Piker, where's the Rick Scott clip? Here we go. Okay. This is, we covered this a little while ago, but I think it's worth looking at again.
People who are covered by Medicaid now going to potentially lose Medicaid coverage as a result of this?
We're not going to touch Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid. What we are going to do is go into those programs and carve out the fraud, waste, and abuse and find efficiencies. Couple of examples. You know, there's about $50 billion estimated that are lost every year in Medicaid just in fraud alone.
That fraud is not coming from individuals, it's coming from providers. They're not tackling providers. They're not actually going after like false billing. They are trying to cut recipients. If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest.
The wheel tipped $4. The social contract convinced me to pay for theory.
Thank you very much. We're 70 away. But here's the deal. If I said that, I'd be gone. Instantaneously. Like that. I'd be gone. You got banned for this? No. You got suspended for a day. And he's back. I would be banned immediately. Any of you would be banned immediately. Queen, banned immediately. YouTuber, creator who brings in money for the platform, not banned at all, and that's important. And you might think, yeah, obviously. But think it through a little bit. Irrespective of their political persuasions against the current regime, for the current administration, all of these people are immune based on money. Wake up, everybody. It's all running on money. I know. But, like, in all seriousness, we need to actually start viewing this as kind of a bit of a racket that's actually kind of two-tiered, because Destiny is 100% allowed. This is the statement that YouTube is making by this being on there. By this stuff existing. YouTube has decided that it is okay with YouTube if Destiny, if a wealthy creator tells his audience that he would like someone to kill another creator. Explicitly. Explicitly. That's fine. I find that fascinating. It's a very strange state of affairs. Because in the real world, right, there's you can largely, if you're lucky, just kind of maintain the illusion that while police are corrupt, and indeed, you know, they are given a wide range of options to avoid having to serve the public and very few options to avoid having to serve capital. They're still kind of normal people or whatever that make decisions based on preserving their own lives, doing a job, and so on and so forth. With YouTube, it actually is policy. It's an unwritten policy, an unspoken policy that, and Twitch as well. Just throwing you a little bone there, Dan Saltman, okay? And Twitch as well. It is their policy that if you are a large enough creator, you can get away with making death threats or engaging in stochastic terrorism, which is what this is. It's what this is. Engaging in stochastic terrorism against other people who are on the platform. And make no mistake, this is not a threat against Queeman and J-Stock. This is a threat against everybody who speaks out against Destiny, because that's the implication. My mindset is at the place where I will do you physical harm if you do anything that threatens my bag or my reputation. And YouTube is fine with it. I find that fascinating. I find that genuinely fascinating. Lav as well. And this is the public statement. This is the public-facing statement. What's been said in private? I heard, I haven't seen. I heard from the interview with the DDoS kid. The DDoS kid again is the person who years and years ago, I think it's going on a decade now, maybe more. I don't know. I'd have to review. But a long while ago, Destiny was his internet connection was being attacked, was being hindered by some kid who was sabotaging his he was DDoSing him, right? And we know about this because Destiny went onto a stream and talked about how this is how I decided to get a gun, and I plotted how I was going to get to his house, kill them, and escape. That's just a thing he did. And he claimed afterwards, he's defended this for years. He's like, well, what would you do if somebody slashed your tires every single day for years and years and years? At some point, you know, the law's just not stepping in to save you. What are you going to do? According to that interview, apparently the death threats started immediately. Apparently he just immediately started, like, screaming death threats at the DDoS kid. No one can verify any of this. But here's what's happening. We've moved to a place where a big liberal YouTuber, and again, I can't stress how fascinating I find this. A big liberal YouTuber, okay? An anti-Trump YouTuber. Google donated to Trump. An anti-Trump YouTuber is able to threaten, to encourage violence against the sitting president on Twitter. Is allowed to directly threaten violence, or, if you prefer, to stochastically incite his audience to do violence to other YouTubers who criticize him. Leaving aside the fact that all of this sexual abuse is allowed to be known and so on and so forth, and YouTube is apparently fine with that. I find that very interesting. Police serve the order? No, they don't serve the order either. That's also very ideologically naive. Mr. Borelli is a cash cow for Google? Probably not that much of a cash cow, to be honest. Like, really? Like, no doubt he brings in a lot of money, but there are channels that bring in tremendously more. Political channels are just not big wells of cash compared to a lot of other things.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest.
Envy is political tipped $4.20. Sunday, it's okay to plot to kill a kid and his father. His livelihood was threatened, don't you understand?
Are you saying it affected his business? Political channels are some of the worst monetization. They're very polarizing. They tire people out. Gaming channels, cat channels, the kinds of stuff you watch for fun, normies watch for fun. I watch pet grooming channels personally. There's this one where this one lady just, I think it's called I don't know. It's some nice girl just grooms cats, and she's very empathetic about it, and I just quite enjoy that. We watch that a lot. Those channels pull in money for YouTube. Destiny's channel pulls in money for YouTube, but like not that much. The viewership is significantly less than Vosh's, for instance. Vosh, by the way, lest we forget, flashed underage drawn porn on his stream, and he's fine. What a world, isn't it? Crazy. I am forced to say that, yeah, indeed, you know what, between the two of them? The confirmed pedophile is better than Destiny. That's wild to me. That's wild. Vosh still gets 5k concurrent. Vosh was getting upwards of 12k concurrent last I checked. He's doing astonishingly well. Not fair. Sunday Destiny is also a pedophile. True. That's fair. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Pedophile erasure. You can't cancel me. I quit. Like, this is just on Willie Mac's video, by the way. Okay? Is Queeman's full box public yet? He's calling him Charles for some reason. I'm given to understand this is wrong. Who knows? Who cares? When I see this, though, I don't see I mean, it is a threat. It is a threat against Queeman and J-Stock. It is stochastic terrorism. It is absolutely saying, like, hey, I want someone who watches this. I would be happy. You, the horde of people who have a parasocial investment in me, I would be happy if harm was done to these people. Like real physical harm. Terrible, terrible turtle harm, even. I see that, and I don't think about J-Stock and Queeman. What I think about is, like, all the women who are attached to the Pixie case, all the women who have issues with Destiny, who have been harmed by Destiny directly or indirectly, all the other people who have been harmed directly or indirectly by Destiny. And I think, what are those people seeing when they see this? Like, this is very clearly, this is pretty much a naked use of threats of physical violence to silence critics of a public figure. That's nakedly what this is. And it's fascinating that this is fine. Because it's not just YouTube. And it's not just the commentary weirdos. Willie Mack, Nicholas DeOrio, Turkey Tom, these are all extremely low IQ perverts who are clearly fine with this. Probably engage in some similar stuff themselves if I'm speculating. Like me personally, who doesn't, I find this stuff disgusting and it angers me. I am very suspicious of someone who is not disgusted and angered by this kind of thing. But nobody else is covering it either. Isn't that fascinating? Because Destiny has enemies. A lot of them. Vosh hates Destiny, should hate Destiny. They've attacked each other and helped try to destroy each other's careers for a very long time. Hassan Piker. Like all these people. All the Trump channels, all the conservative channels, all the people he's humiliated. Isn't that fascinating? Nobody's talking about it. They'll talk about Bo Blacks wearing a dress. That's breaking news, apparently. Oh, somebody was outed as a furry. Somebody's, ew, they're a little gay. Like, the commentary stuff has gotten boring. There was a time when scandals were a little bit, they were hard-hitting. So-and-so has been outed as a pedophile. Medicare is a guilty pleasure for me. I like watching him bully pedophiles. I shouldn't. He's bad at it. He genuinely is bad at it. He probably provokes people to harmful behaviors and bad life choices and so on and so forth. But hearing Ross scream, it just hits a dark spot of my brain. And now it's about, oh, so-and-so's wearing a dress. Bo Blacks has got his dick out. That's drama now. Why is it still showing subscribers? I don't want to have a notification every time there's subscribers. That is really frustrating. Hang on, let me fix this. I thought I turned that off. Not that I don't appreciate subscribers. I just don't need a noise every single time. Oh. There we go. Okay. Alright, that should work. Why is everyone scared of Destiny? Because I think they believe him. Like when me and Beckett made our videos, like I flat out told them, like, look, we're gonna make these things, and then we're gonna get out. We're making them, and we're getting out. We are not enmeshing ourselves in this beyond this initial thing. At least that's my plan. The only arguments me and Beckett really had about all of this were in the aftermath when he was trying to do some damage control on his own, because he has relationships to maintain. People like Nick and so on and so forth. They believe him. These are plausible threats. Remember, the premise of all of this is that Destiny is a callous and impulsive person who does not take into account the risks involved in what he does based on his emotions and desires in the moment, either to himself or to other people. These are plausible threats. Will he follow through? Has he followed through in the past? No. Does he behave in a manner where you would have faith that he wouldn't? No. No. I'm not convinced he wouldn't. I've prepared just in case. I'm not convinced he wouldn't. This kind of thing is probably fairly ubiquitous. Yeah, I did prepare. This kind of thing is probably ubiquitous. Probably amongst people who are more serious too. But here's the deal. And this is something a little bit loath to say. We have a problem effectively with de facto or implied mob violence in lefty content, in progressive content. That is a thing now, by the way. Who is the most successful progressive streamer besides Hassan? Destiny. Who has integrated more with the Democratic Party? Destiny. Who has uniquely threatened lethal violence against other streamers who criticize him, including arguably former employees, definitely former colleagues, associates? Destiny. And we are in a situation where one crazy person, because he is crazy. Destiny's stupid, but it has to be said he's stupid in a very particular way. Destiny is capable of intelligent thought. It's the fact that he's evil that makes him not engage in it. Learning things and understanding things and getting good at things takes discipline. Discipline requires sacrifice. Sort of like with scientific experimentation. For every single successful experiment, there's disciplined and diligent repetition of experimentation. And it creates waste because experiments yield negative results. We disproved a hypothesis. We disproved a hypothesis, and so on and so forth. And we wanted to prove a hypothesis. We wanted to make something work. And if you don't actually care about the science, if you are a pervert, in a particular sense of the word, you might fudge your studies. Humanity's been paying for fudge studies for a little while, including, for example, by people who essentialize sex and gender, IQ, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of garbage science out there, but not just there. So Destiny's got the capacity to do something good, but he's a bad person. He's a bad person. He's empty inside. There's nothing going on there. The hatred he feels isn't the kind of anger you feel when you see someone doing something unjust like this. The anger he feels is the kind of anger like a small insect might display if you poke it too much. It doesn't really amount to anger. It's not really a human emotion. It's just kind of it reaches the intellectual level of like the way an acid burns your skin, right? That's sort of the level he's operating at. Because being a bad person actually makes you less human and less sentient. Just so you know. Just FYI. It makes you more slavish. It means you're actually driven more by stuff from down here as opposed to stuff from up here. And yeah, they are sort of kind of the same, but also in a significant way they also kind of aren't. And it results in this. Because this is the game right now. This is what you're dealing with. Stephen Bennell is a man who was molested by his family members, who was very scrawny, very unattractive, very weak, very nasally, very uncharming in high school and in his early work career. Okay. His family were probably assholes. He was born to inheritors of a slave fortune, I'm given to understand. People who had people who were in America but whose ancestors had plantations in where were Cuba? And then suddenly he started to build notoriety and publicity, getting early on streaming a lot, after getting a little bit of attention through StarCraft playing, professional StarCraft playing. And then as a result, suddenly this person who could attract the attention of nobody that he desired could suddenly attract the attention of a whole lot of people that a teenage self would desire. Awful people. Awful people with breasts. And so he used his he used that to get as much access to that as possible, as quickly as possible, as frequently as possible, as cheaply as possible. Often with people you wouldn't be very proud of achieving it with, to compensate, because his self-worth was entirely the negative reflection of his failures as a child, and they continue to be. And development arrested at that point, because now the entire game of his life is not achieving anything, is not becoming anything, is not learning anything. It's just being big and getting bigger by any means necessary. Vaush not covering this at all. That's because Vaush is a pedophile. Hassan did cover it some too, barely. Hassan is fearful of covering Destiny. Fearful. Genuinely. I will not speculate why, but I've noted this. Hassan is afraid of Destiny. Genuinely. He is genuinely afraid of Destiny. He's not afraid of Ethan Klein. He's terrified of Destiny. That's my assessment. I think he's afraid. I think he's genuinely terrified. I think his behavior speaks to that. I do not think... Why, though? I don't know. I do not think if Destiny was anybody else that he would refrain from covering it. And covering it a lot. Because what is Destiny? Think about it for a second. It's fascinating. It's fascinating that Hassan doesn't cover Destiny more. What is Destiny? Destiny is a genocide denier. Destiny is someone who cartoonishly lies about the state of the genocide of the Gazan Arabs. Destiny is someone who makes comical, basic errors about geography, history, ethics, etc. Destiny has a very clear-cut sexual abuse case against him. Very clear-cut. The kind of thing that should destroy his career if it wasn't for the fact that everybody was covering it up. That's interesting. I find that very interesting. He will cover Dan Saltman. He will not cover Destiny. I find that interesting. Does Destiny have dirt on Hassan or something? I don't think he has dirt on him. Here's the question. Do you think Destiny has the restraint to not use dirt on Hassan if he has dirt on Hassan? I don't think so. I don't think so. This is just speculation. For all I know, Hassan's bored. Which is fair. I find Destiny boring too. He's boring. He's genuinely boring. He has nothing. He's nothing interesting to bring to any conversation. He has no specialized knowledge about anything. He's a grotesque asshole who's a pervert, so he's difficult to watch. He's uncharismatic. If you've had any kind of not train wreck parental figure in your life, like, he's gross. You take away Destiny's wealth, and all of a sudden he's the creepy uncle who's spying on his nephew with a camera, jerking off to it later. That's who Destiny is. That's who he is. From behavior to appearance, that's who Destiny is. You're radicalizing it Sunday? Nope. I am not actually. The bald patch and the beard is getting crazy. Yeah, I don't know why he just doesn't do the mustache goatee thing. That seems kind of obvious. Wow. This is Willie Mack. These two are so unlikable even when they're being threatened with their docs. I can't help but notice how big off losers they are. Lol, lol, lol. This man is non-sentient. This man is non-sentient. Looks like J-Stock though. Who's this?
Yeah.
4 minutes ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Destiny gets extra spicy
Oh, Queenman's a bird for some reason.
when talking about J-Stalk, Lav, and more.
Yeah.
And he quotes, I do want somebody to kill J-Stalk, Lav, or Mr. Girl. So if this was Hassan saying this, we agree this post would say, Hassan calls for violence against innocent poor Jew on... like, that's what it would say, right?
It would probably just include you, Lav, and Mr. Girl. I wouldn't even be included because I'm white. It would just be like Hassan.
By the way, just FYI, Destiny publicly said he would like for 3 Jews to be killed. Just FYI. Just FYI.
On curiously,
So
only
this guy's
once
like a
Jews
pathetic
killed.
cocksucker.
The vast majority of people, Destiny is now intimidated with death threats online. By, like, vocally, like, personally. He has threatened death on, or has implied death threats on, or has provided incitement to kill, have been Jews. Just so you know. Just FYI. Not that it matters, YouTube doesn't care.
Hack loser, right? He needs to be like absolutely kicked into the dirt.
I think he just hates Hassan. But
This
I
guy
mean,
needs to
yeah,
be
if you,
stomped into the fucking dirt. This guy
if you want to say that,
filth.
he hates Hassan. He likes. Did you see this one?
Rape Creek on this fucking loser.
Wait,
man,
hold
seriously.
on. Asmongold shouts out Fuentes, Nick Fuentes. A lot of people have been talking about him. Did you see this clip?
I vaguely know about that, doesn't matter. So, it's interesting. This guy needs to be stomped in the dirt. What, yeet? I don't even know what yeet is. Got people in my DMs asking if I'm alright because they started the stream late and they saw that I wasn't on camera because I was trying to fix the webcam. But yeah, okay. Well, yeah. So long story short, this is the new status quo. YouTube is fine with large YouTubers threatening death on smaller streamers and on viewers. YouTube is fine with large streamers, large content creators, telling their audiences that they want other creators on YouTube dead. Saying that he would kill them if he got the chance. YouTube's fine with that. If you don't believe me, you should go ask them on Twitter. Show that clip. Go ask them. I'm curious what they think personally. I'm fascinated. I am fascinated. Reed is Destiny's newest Twitter soldier. Yeah, they're all the same nameless losers, aren't they? They all have the same voice. They all sound like Destiny. Maybe Xanderhall can make a comeback. I thought he was back and he was doing fine. Xanderhall's doing fine. Xanderhall's greatest crime is being too embarrassing to exist in this universe without a very strong justification, some strong counterbalancing. But he's been doing fine. He's pulling... I mean, he's pulling my views, so that's not very good. But he's doing fine. His uploaded segments are doing fine. His streams are doing terribly. I think his last one got under 2,000 yesterday. But then Xanderhall's a moron who has no charisma whatsoever, so... Please don't play the puking clip Sunday. Well, since you insist.
Just nodding their head as if you're a child and going along with their...
I love it. Okay, let's talk about the Okay. Generic titles don't need to update it, okay? We're talking about Metcalf. This is from 3 days ago. Austin American Statesman. Texas police warn of misinformation after fatal stabbing at high school meet what we know. Law enforcement is warning of misinformation being spread online relating to the death of Texas teenager Austin Metcalf. Metcalf, who was 17, died on April 2nd after being stabbed in the heart at a high school track meet at Frisco Independent School District's Kukendall Stadium. I can't pronounce that. Kukendall Stadium. He was a student at Memorial High School. Memorial High School, located 3 miles north of the crime scene. The altercation between Metcalf and Centennial High School student Carmelo Anthony occurred around 10 a.m. Police say the two were involved in a disagreement over a seat at the track meet before Anthony wielded a knife and stabbed Metcalf. First responders performed life-saving measures on the wounded victim, from CPR to blood administration, but the teen died at the scene. Anthony, also 17, was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Frisco police confirmed last week. As of Monday, Anthony was being held in the Collin County Jail on a $1 million bond. The day after the tragedy, the police department made another post warning of a fake account on social media purporting to belong to Chief David Shilson. The public was encouraged to rely solely on the department's verified accounts for accurate information. The fake account alleged the stabbing was a result of a mutual combat altercation initiated when Metcalf sucker punched Anthony, according to Click2 Houston. I saw that actually a little while ago. The posts also say that Metcalf smashed Anthony's phone into one of the bleachers. These claims have not been confirmed by law enforcement. I also don't know how they would confirm these claims. I don't know how these claims would be confirmed. My interest would be in what the sources were. In a statement, Shilson explains the impersonation of a law enforcement officer is a criminal offense and a third-degree felony which will be investigated. It won't. Nobody cares. On Friday, officials reported that yet another social media account was sharing false information about the case. A fabricated photo of a document from the county medical examiner states Metcalf's primary cause of death was an MDMA drug overdose. Jesus fucking Christ. Listing blood loss from a stab wound as a secondary cause. Quote, the Frisco Police Department is aware of an image circulating on social media purporting to be a report from the Collin County Medical Examiner's office, unquote. The post reads, quote, at this time the report has not been released, therefore any information currently found online is false, unquote. Only official releases from verified accounts should be trusted. Do not contribute to the misinformation by spreading unconfirmed information. Several media outlets cite an arrest affidavit claiming Anthony told an officer at the scene that he had acted in self-defense. Allegedly, he said, I was protecting myself, unprovoked. Said unprovoked when an officer told him to keep his hands in the air. The officer then communicated to others that he had the alleged suspect in custody, to which Anthony said, I'm not alleged, I did it. Fascinating. By the way, regardless of what end of things you were on, here's a little bit of advice for you if you're in America, okay? If for whatever reason you find yourself in a self-defense situation and you have to use violence to defend yourself, do not say anything to the cops. Refuse. Call a lawyer. Only person you talk to. You stay silent. Say nothing. Seriously. Say nothing. Under no circumstances talk to the police. Seriously. Shouldn't be the case. You should be able to trust the people who are charged with, oh, but they aren't. See, that's the problem. You don't actually have police, guys. Hate to break it to you. You don't have police. You don't have law enforcement. You do not have law enforcement. That is not a thing you have. Police are not charged to defend the law, to uphold the rules. So there you go. If they were, I'd be telling you something very different. But just so you know, they have no obligation to be fair, to be honest, and there is no accountability. There is literally nothing. Nothing. What's the oversight for the police? Nothing. Sometimes, if you're lucky, they've got cameras on them. And then public outcry can exert pressure. But nothing. Literally nothing. No, Gempt, bad advice. Say nothing. You talk to a lawyer. You say nothing. You submit to arrest and you don't talk. Comply with everything they tell you to do except speak. Shut the fuck up and wait to talk to a lawyer. Period. But I digress. The report also states that while walking to the police vehicle, Anthony was emotional and said he put his hands on me. I told him not to. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This is something else too. Guys, unless you're in your home, Castle's doctrine doesn't apply. And just FYI, self-defense is only a defense if you're believed by parties that may not want to believe you. Case in point, Luigi Mangione, they're seeking the death penalty for. A mass shooter, a white nationalist mass shooter, was recently sentenced with stayed. Just so you know. And the Luigi Mangione thing, you almost wouldn't be angry about it if it wasn't for the fact that you knew that a white nationalist mass shooter could get away with it. He just killed the wrong people.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest.
Eric Adams tipped $4.20. Report or run after self-defense.
When the police arrive, you comply with the police and you stay quiet. That's all. Talk to a lawyer. Always talk to a lawyer. Can we read Desaad at some point? That's definitely TOS. We'll read about Desaad. Sure. Not reading Desaad. Desaad is basically porn, so we're not reading Desaad. Desaad is philosophically interesting, though. Anthony allegedly said, I was protecting myself. Again, unprovoked. When an officer told him to keep his hands in the air, the officer then communicated to others that he had the alleged suspect in custody, to which Anthony said, I'm not alleged, I did it. The report also states that Anthony said he put his hands on me, I told him not to. And then that he also asked officers if Metcalf was going to be okay and whether his actions could be considered self-defense. This is a kid, it has to be reminded. at a track meet. On Friday, a local NBC outlet spoke to Anthony's lawyer, Derek Walpole. I know that my client said it was self-defense. I don't have any reason to disbelieve that, but I need to develop facts, talk to people, and figure out what's going on before I make any statements about what I think happened, Walpole told NBC5 DFW. I don't have any reason to think it wasn't self-defense at this time. Walpole also said he requested a hearing for this week to have Anthony's $1 million bond lowered. Fluff about GoFundMe campaigns for the memorials of the victim. Alternatively, at least 3 other online fundraising campaigns have been launched supporting Anthony. One campaign said Anthony was a respectful, well-mannered young man and had 0 criminal history, not even a blemish. It had raised $140,000 before it was taken down. Why was it taken down? Why are they taken down? A GoFundMe spokesperson told The Independent that they prohibit fundraisers for the legal defense of violent crimes. Why? Why? That's so stupid. Why? What if they were innocent? Like, the legal, it's not the legal defense of a violent crime. It's the legal defense of an accusation of a violent crime. That's a different thing. The second and a third were also taken down. Oh, thank you so much. Can I trade you? Thank you. How's the pie coming?
It's done.
Yes. He stabbed someone? Yeah, but is it a crime? See, if it's self-defense, it's not a crime. Here's a key lime pie waiting for me after stream. The best kind of pie, in my humble opinion. With meringue. A third campaign, this one through Give, Send, Go, remained live on Monday. The page claims to have been created by the Anthony family and has raised more than $170,000 as of noon Monday. This is the official support fund for Carmelo and his family during this challenging and difficult time. The page reads, the narrative being spread is false, unjust, and harmful. As a family of faith, we are deeply grateful for your support during this trying period. Your prayers and assistance mean more to us now than ever. So here's the deal. People ask if I have thoughts. There have been claims that it was self-defense. I don't know if they're true. There have been claims that Metcalf was belligerent first. I don't know if they're true. What we do know is that a kid at a high school event brought a knife and drew the knife and stabbed someone who did not have a knife. And that's it. Period. Now, the question, ultimately, has nothing to do with the case, because it's kind of irrelevant. The kid's already dead, and now it's just a matter of how is this person going to be sentenced? Who brought a knife to a track event and did kill somebody without cause? Because, unfortunately, a fight over a seat, even if it was started by somebody else, even if they punched you, does not license you to take out a weapon, to draw a weapon, and then stab them. Period. So that's done. This kid's going to get raked across the coals, and I have nothing to say about that. But here's the actual importance of this. Anthony's black. Bluntly, that's the issue. You have photos like this now, okay? Now, why does this matter? This matters because we have a situation at the moment where the presidency and ICE are actually going against the other branches of government, specifically the courts, to deport people on spurious evidence. To deport people to a mega jail that is in bed with the gangs that they have a financial relationship with. And this will be used as propaganda supporting that. Other people who are not related in any way, shape, or fashion to an American citizen, an American school student, on the basis of racism, this will be used to justify further targeting on that ground. That's basically it. That's basically it. And that is ultimately the upshot of this. Literally. This is Fox News. This is what Fox News has chosen to show. And here's the thing. This kid was dangerous. Extremely dangerous. This kid brought a knife to a track meet. Why? Why did he have a blade at a track meet? What was the point? The reason why a lot of kids are interested in pocket knives. They're weapons. That's why. Grown-ups generally recognize it's boring. Some of the really dumb ones don't figure it out. But kids love knives. Why? Because they're like little swords. They're cool. They make you feel powerful. And so they fantasize about using them. In these epic confrontations. I had no choice. They feel really cool. What happens? One idiot gets in his head that this is the time. And here you go. She's probably not a good kid. Got some news for you, Lisa. There are no good kids. Kids are terrible. Kids are callous, sadistic, cruel, and stupid. Kids are terrible. You mature into having empathy, typically. Very young children will pick the wings off insects. Stick their fingers into the eyes and ears of pets, right? Adolescent and older children bring cruelty, intelligence, and envy to the table and become a lot worse. And it typically takes several important layers of experiences in order to become something different from that. I'm generalizing. I'm sure there are a lot of empathetic kids, but like a lot of people, it's not natural to them. It's not natural to people. It's not natural to other animals. Like, it's just not natural to us. It's a thing you develop by relating to things and building up emotional complexity in relationships with other people. Many adults are worse. Yeah, but that's because they don't do that, right? A lot of adults are worse because they just end up being more powerful, more jaded, more hurt, more isolated, more independent. And so all those factors, they intensify. That's where you get your destinies from. People just suck. No, they don't. But people who don't suck, people who become people who don't suck, that is due to a lot of diverse factors that do not coalesce in all cases. It comes natural if you're in a loving environment with sound boundaries. Well, congratulations. You've confirmed something Aristotle argued thousands of years ago, which is that being unjust to someone makes them worse. Newsflash for you kids, being poor doesn't make you good. It actually has a tendency, this is one of the reasons why allowing there to be extreme wealth inequality and extreme poverty, it makes people bad. It makes it harder to be good. You have more opportunities for dilemmas where you have to choose between being selfish and losing. And those cascade. You get used to the one that makes you feel better. Was Carmelo poor? I don't know. Was he? What school was this? He was from a different school, so he was going to Centennial? Let's see. Let's find out. I'm actually kind of curious. We'll know by the school. Anthony Carmelo? With a K, not with a C. That's a basketball player. Frisco Centennial High School. Let's see. I don't know. Although it's unfortunate. This is now a major part of its, this now makes up roughly a fifth of its entire Wikipedia entry. Was this stabbing? Now, the school opened recently in 2003, initially to serve 9th and 10th graders. It was the second to open the district after Frisco High School. At the time, it served all of the school's district areas of Preston Road, as well as portions of North Plano and Western McKinney. The first graduating class from the high school graduated in spring 2006. It doesn't look cheap. It looks nice. But, I don't know. I don't know. Is, that's a highway. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter at all.
Sure shot tipped $3.33. Me, the most evil person in the world, sitting with my collection of 12 knives.
Watch out for a sure shot. You know what's more dangerous than a knife, though? A big stick. Just so you know. Big stick. Want to be cool? Learn how to use a big stick. That's why sword canes are so dumb. You know what's a really good weapon? A cane. It's a stick with a weight on the end. That's a great weapon. You know what's a lame weapon? A guardless cane handle with a spike that's too long to really put pressure with, like for that, but also too short to work like a sword. It's actually the dumbest idea in concept. Like, why would you shorten this perfectly good club to get this awkward little spike that's not gonna incapacitate anybody immediately? Like, spear is better. I mean, spear is just, like, by and large, the superior weapon in almost every single melee case. There's a great video that actually, like, they showed people, like, trying to fight a spear with a sword, and it's really interesting. You see stuff kind of play out. Shillelagh was legit a terrifying weapon. They are terrifying weapons. You can still buy them. There's companies that make unique ones. They're also beautiful. Well, can we look at Shillelaghs for a second? I so want to get one. I'm not going to lie. The Irish fighting stick. Like, these things, oh god, they're so freaking cool. And it's literally just a well-made staff with a big old lead weight embedded in the end. They are just gorgeous. When my monetization situation is done, I'm probably gonna invest in one. Big walking stick version, something like this. That'd be nice for hiking. Shillelagh. Did I say Shillelagh? I'm tired, okay? Shillelagh. Shillelagh. Come on, close. Girls use as gavels. Get small ones as gavels. Casual clubs. I just really want one of these. I just really want one of these. So when I'm old, I can fulfill my wizard thing. Let's see, what have we got right now? I want a fighting stick. But I want it to be a staff. All of these are like individual too. Like you have to order every single one specifically. And those staffs, they go fast. Like they're all sold. Look at this. All sold. These are all like individual unique pieces. Ugh. So it sucks because you see when that's perfect, it's definitely been bought by some collector. Like this one here, F. F or D. I think I'd probably honestly want D, but F is very nice. D's more subtle though. But like, yeah, D's sold. They're all sold. Oh, that's terrible. A senator was almost killed with one on the Senate floor. Cool. Why does Sunday want a weapon? That is a walking stick, sir. You wouldn't part an old man from his walking stick, would you? Make one yourself? That's a lot of work, though. I could. Like, I have to find a stick, though. That's the problem. But yeah. It can't be that hard to make. Because it really is just like an oiled stick with varnish, right? But yeah, I want one of these. I'm going to grab some coffee and we're going to continue, okay? Remember, if we get to $100 in donations, we will skip to the theory channel. We will do theory. All right, I'll be back in a moment. Okay, you know what?
Excellent.
Fuck's
No.
sake.
Surprise. But sex. But sex. But sex.
I have decided we're gonna switch to the other channel early, okay? Just for free, because I'm nice like that. If you want to support the channel and you like what I do, there are two ways to do that. The channel is completely demonetized, remember? We were falsely flagged for educational content. We have a Patreon, link in the description. You can join the Patreon. You can also donate through Stream Elements. Destiny has doxed me, so I'm just using that now, because who the fuck cares at this point? I am sending you over to the other channel. We'll be live in 5. We'll actually be live immediately, more or less. But I will be going up there, and we will be doing smart stuff. Not this terrible, dumb stuff. Alright. We're going to my brother's channel. See you there in a bit. I mean my brother. Something. What's the link? Don't worry. It will take you there. We're raiding in. Here we go.